Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the upcoming direct motion of the planet Jupiter. So guys, as you know this thing that when it comes down to all the auspicious events in our life, Jupiter plays a very significant role over there. Whether we talk about getting married, whether it's about having a childbirth, buying your first house, progressing in your life, any of the pilgrimages, all of that are somehow attached with the planet Jupiter. So now guys, as you know that Jupiter, which is about to complete its yearly transit in the sign of Aries, and like at the end of the April of 2024, when Jupiter will end its journey in the Aries sign. But from the past couple of months, as Jupiter was in a retrograde motion, but finally on December 31st, Jupiter is coming out of its retrograde motion. That in itself means that all the signification which Jupiter represents over there, you will definitely experience a positive thrust. Because guys, see, you have to understand this thing that after this, Jupiter will move to the Taurus sign, which is not a very friendly placement. Jupiter will move to the Gemini sign, which is not a very favorable placement. And after like only 2-3 years, then only when it will move to the Cancer sign, a sign of its exaltation, it will be in its glorified state. And also, even if you have to do a proper analysis of Jupiter's stay in the Aries sign so far. So we all know this thing that for a major portion of time, Jupiter was in the Aries, but it was conjunct with Rahu. After that, it turned into retrograde motion. So that in itself means that now rest of the, I would say 4 months is a golden time which we have, where whatsoever Jupiter represents in your chart, wheresoever it is transiting in your chart, good results can be attained. And just because guys, whenever it comes down to Aries, which is generally attached with the auspicious beginnings, so that in itself means that if you are working hard in any specific area of your life to turn around your life, to initiate some important things, so this placement, direct motion of the planet Jupiter over there, and well supported by the third aspect of the planet Saturn, which is also dignified in its Mool Trikona sign, will only work in your favor. Guys, why to go very far? Like even if I have to take up my own case as well, the minute, the day Rahu transited to the Pisces, that in itself means that now Jupiter is left alone in the Aries. So in my case, like I'm a Aries rising, Jupiter, my 9th house and the 12th house lord is already transiting in the first house. I do not know from how circumstances got turned around in such a way that I moved from Canada to India, and even after coming here within a 1 month span of time, I did so many pilgrimages. I did Char Dham Yatra like Kedarnath, Badrinath, Gangotri, Yamunotri in Uttarakhand. After that, I did Venkateshwara temple pilgrimage site in the Tirumala. After that, I did Mahalakshmi temple in the Kolhapur. So now if I'm in due retrospect, when I'm looking at things, it was only able to materialize, it only happened because Jupiter was supporting it. Jupiter in the transit was supporting it. So yes guys, whether I talk about in my personal life and for everyone, now when Jupiter will gain momentum, once it will come out of its retrograde motion on December 31st, so I can assure you that the next 4 months will definitely open lot many doors for lot many people. So yes guys, now we will shift our discussion to the customized results for all the rising signs, and I will be focusing more on the ascendant. So guys, to begin with the Aries rising natives, definitely guys, in your case, Jupiter has got a rulership over your 9th house and the 12th house, and it is transiting in your first house. So as you know this thing that whenever a planet is transiting in your first house, the signification, attributes or qualities, vibe of that planet get experienced in your overall persona. So for luck supporting you in major avenues or areas of your life, this is going to be a very favorable transition in the motion of the planet Jupiter. Whether we talk about any of the concerns of immigration, whether we talk about some very positive travels, pilgrimages, or like concerns of marriage, childbirth, or doing good in your education, in your academics, in performing arts. So overall, this strengthened state of Jupiter in your first house is bound to bless lot many Aries Lagna natives. So guys, if you remember at the time when Jupiter was transiting in the 12th house which tells about our sleep, 12th house which also tells about in our body, it also tells about our feet. So when Jupiter was in the Pisces in my 12th house, I got so obsessed with washing my feet frequently, specifically when I have to do prayers, when I have to go to sleep. Same way, imagine right now the planet of blessing divinity is transiting right over your head. So the more you can do the mantra japa or reading holy scriptures, indulging and involving in religious activities, and putting a tilak in your forehead is some of the things which you should consider doing. So overall, it's a very favorable transit for the Aries Lagna natives. And let's say, for example, if you are in that line for some auspicious major lifetime events, like you are single, looking out for matrimonial alliance, you're already married, you're trying for a child, or any of the concerns of immigration, so this change in the transition of the Jupiter's motion will definitely work out in your favor. It will open lot many doors for you. Now guys, for all the Taurus Lagna natives, so guys, in your case now, definitely, as you can see that although Jupiter is not a very favorable planet for you, and its placement is also kind of little bit vulnerable being there in the 12th house, but guys, as you know this thing that it hardly matters whether a planet is afflicted, a planet like Jupiter is debilitated, it's weak, it's afflicted, its innate nature is still of purity, of divinity, of a blessing. So I would say that, let's say for example, if in any way you are trying to do something or initiate something pertaining to the matters of your 12th house, this change in the motion of the planet Jupiter will definitely support you. Now this could be a case that you recently migrated to a new country, or you are like just trying to start fresh your life in a new country, or anything to do with the immigration, foreign settlement, overseas education. So in any capacity, if you are trying to do something, this change in the motion of the Jupiter will be very supportive for you. And also guys, a lot many times I keep on coming across all those people who are like nomadic travelers, vloggers, traveling the world, van life, or let's say for example you are very much fascinated with some other different culture, religion, like you are a person who is born in the West, now you want to move to India, you want to get enrolled in some ashram, in some gurukul, and you want to learn the Vedic teachings and the yoga, Ayurveda. So I would say for all of these aspirations, this state of the planet Jupiter is very much supportive, favorable for you. And I would also say this thing that guys, for any of the investments which you have made in the past, so getting some good return on the past investment can also be foreseen for lot many Taurus Lagna natives. And lastly guys, the same thing which I say, that because 12th house represents your feet, Jupiter is a very holy divine planet, so wash your feet before going to sleep, because the prophetic dreams or any of the communication from the other side generally happens from the 12th house. So this can be foreseen this way. And lastly guys, from over here, Jupiter is going to be giving you its aspect to your 4th house, to your 6th house, to your 8th house. So I would say that any of the concerns of home related concerns, trying to buy a home or start that whole process, or some growth development in your line of work, or experimenting in some new line of work, or some relocating to a new place, or experimenting with some new job responsibilities, or being transferred to a new branch. So all of that will definitely work out in your favor, right? Like rather I would say, even pertaining to the matters of your health as well, this trade aspect of the planet Jupiter will actually be in your favor. And lastly guys, Jupiter being placed in the 12th house, one of the mysterious house, and giving its 9th aspect to your 8th house, another mysterious house, is a very good indication. In any capacity, if you are inclined towards tantra, yoga, or matters of life and death, research, exploration and all, so this aspect of the planet Jupiter will also support you. Now guys, when we talk about the Gemini rising natives, in their case Jupiter has got a rulership over your 7th house and the 10th house, and now it is going to be gaining momentum or changing into the transition, getting into direct motion in your 11th house. So definitely guys, as you know this thing that Jupiter's transit from the 11th house is considered as very good. Jupiter is also connected as a significator or karaka of your 11th house, and this whole theme of Jupiter's presence in the Aries could be encapsulated as the fortunate beginnings. So my recommendation to the Gemini Lagna native is that if you are in that crossroad, that any of your concerns right now hover around the attributes or matters of the 7th house or the 10th house, like let's say for example in your commercial line of work, you want to initiate some new changes, or you are not able to handle your business by yourself, you want to get into partnership, or you are in a lookout for that, or you are in a lookout for a matrimonial alliance for yourself, or let's say for example in your line of work as well, whatsoever you have contributed, you have not received the recognition of that. So now with this entry of your 7th house and the 10th house lord in the 11th, means it is already there, but now it is going to be coming out of its retrograde motion. So that will definitely work out in your favor. You will definitely see life progressing in the right direction towards your set goals, and running into some like-minded people and all is also on the cards for the Gemini Lagna natives. So guys, from over here Jupiter is going to be giving its aspect to your 3rd house of communication, of self-expression, support, resources. It is going to be giving its straight aspect to your 5th house. Definitely it will make your mind very optimistic, very religious minded, and also for any of the concerns of progeny, childbirth and all, this is going to be a very fortunate time. And lastly, the 9th aspect of the planet Jupiter to your 7th house will definitely work out in your favor for any of the concerns of marriage, matrimonial alliances and all. Moving ahead guys, now for all the Cancer Lagna natives. So guys, in your case now, as you can see that Jupiter becomes a very important planet for you because it has got a rulership over your 9th house. So the 6th and the 9th house lord is now going to be coming out of its retrograde motion in your 10th house, and you have got the last 4 months to encapsulate or to encash on this stay of Jupiter in your 10th house. So definitely guys, Jupiter, its innate nature is of growth, of expansion, of optimism, and this is how it is going to be influencing the attributes or matter of your 10th house. Let's say for example, if you are in that stage in your life, you have just completed your higher studies, you are on a lookout for a job, or let's say for example you are a strong contender for any position, any promotion and all of that. So regarding all that front, it will work out in your favor. So guys, I would say this thing that let's say for example, for past so long you have certain changes, amendments in your profession, in your career, which you want to implement, which you want to execute, and you have just been postponing it or something. So I would say now is the time for that. These 4 months are definitely gonna support you if you're gonna initiate some new measures, new moves in your line of work. Travels will definitely prove to be very fortunate, and let's say for example, if during this time you have to face any competitive situation, which can happen in any capacity. This could be that you are a student, you have to write a competitive exam, or you have to compete for any political aspiration of yours and all. So things will work out in your favor. Moving ahead guys, now for all the Leo Lagna natives. So guys, in your case, as you can see that Jupiter has got a rulership over your 5th house and the 8th house, and now it is going to be coming out of its retrograde motion in your 9th house. So guys, Jupiter is also connected as the significator or karaka of your 9th house as well, and we generally say this thing that whenever Jupiter is transiting from the 9th house, it somehow put your attention in the rightest action, rightest deeds, and it also grants you the result for all the goodness which you possess or all the good deeds which you have done. So I would say this thing that this transition in the motion of the planet Jupiter in your 9th house will definitely support you in major areas of your life. First of all guys, luck will definitely support you, any of the changes which you are trying to implement, or let's say for example, if during this time any of the concerns of foreign visa, immigration, work related travel, or let's say for example you work in the training, teaching, coaching industry, immigration business, you are a lawyer, I would say that this transition in the motion of the planet Jupiter will definitely activate your house of fortune. So overall, it's a very good news for the Leo Lagna natives. Like rather, I would say that you just have the last 4 months to actually take the chances. Guys, I'm a kind of a person where I generally do not give people this kind of free hold of taking that leap of faith. But I would say this thing, that the way planets are influencing you right now, 7th house being in a strengthened state, Jupiter now being devoid of any malefic influence, now in its direct motion in the 9th house. So I would say this thing, that in whichever area of life you are finding yourself struck, or it's all just a matter of getting that conviction, confidence in your own self and taking that leap of faith. So you should do that. And I would say this thing, that any of the travels, pilgrimages will definitely work out in your favor. From over here as well, guys, Jupiter gives its aspect to some of the very fortunate auspicious houses. 5th house of your intellect, 1st house of your health, of your public image, 3rd house of your initiative, of resources and support. So overall, it's a very good news for all the Leo Lagna natives. Now guys, for all the Virgo rising natives, so guys, in your case now, you can definitely see that Jupiter has got a rulership over your 4th house and the 7th house, and now it is going to be coming out of its retrograde motion in your 8th house. So definitely guys, as you know this thing, that this could be a concern that from the past couple of months, let's say for example, if you find yourself struck in any of the business partnership related decision making, or within the matrimonial life as well, there has been lately many conflicts or discord with your partner. So I would say this thing, that this transition in the motion of the planet Jupiter might give you some clarity in all of this area. I would still say this thing, that guys, definitely when Jupiter will only enter your 9th house, there will be much of the good results which will start coming in. But still I would say this thing, that at least it is going to be much better than the retrograde motion. The way it was, Jupiter was completely hemmed, was under tremendous pressure from the past couple of weeks, being in the 8th house, being retrograde, receiving the 3rd aspect from the planet Saturn. So I would say that definitely you will find a cleansing energy or a clarity pertaining to the matters of your 8th house, where Jupiter is currently transiting, and nothing would be better than that. Like let's say for example, if you in your nature of work, line of work, like psychology or insurance, revenue, deep research, exploration, if that is an integral part of your line of work, this could be a very fortunate, blessed time for you. And lastly, in your domestic life, in your matrimonial life, lately if there have been some sort of lack of clarity, too much of the misunderstanding, confusion, illusion, so things will start getting little bit clearer in your case. And also guys, from over here, as you can see that Jupiter definitely gives its aspect to your 12th house, to your 2nd house, to your 4th house as well. So definitely it will definitely drive you towards more pilgrimages, towards more charity. You will definitely stand a chance to get any of the inheritance or any of the property or any of the disputed things which you have a strong claim. So things will definitely work out in your favor. So it's a relief, I would say, sigh of relief for the Virgo Lagna natives, but the best will only come when Jupiter will eventually and finally enter your 9th house. Now guys, for all the Libra Lagna natives, I always say my favorite rising sign. So guys, in your case now, as you can see this thing, that Jupiter has got a rulership over your 3rd house and your 6th house, and now it is going to be coming out of its retrograde motion in your 7th house. Guys, I have already emphasized this thing a lot, that Jupiter, which generally transiting from the 7th house, 11th house, 5th house, 9th house, is considered as a very fortunate transit. But just because for a long span of time, as you can see that Jupiter was conjunct with Rahu, then it was retrograde. So you just have the last 4 months to encash on this golden time period when a planet of blessing is transiting from your 7th house, which is the house of your public image, matrimonial alliances, partnership, commercial interest and all of that. So I would say this thing, that yes guys, for like let's say for example, when we talk about the commerce and trade, so if you are a content creator, you are in any of the partnership nature of work or public speaking, political aspiration, this could be a very fortunate time for you. Second thing is that like I would say this thing, that because Jupiter in the Aries, I always highlight it as, I always club it as fortunate beginnings. So let's say for example, even if in your commercial line you have some of the ideas, strategies, plans which you're trying to initiate, so now Jupiter will support you over there. If you have been lately finding any misunderstanding in your matrimonial life, you will definitely see some clarity, sigh of relief. And those who are single, looking out for alliances, they will also stand a chance. of running into someone like-minded or getting into a matrimonial alliances and all of that. And yes guys, in your case, third house and the sixth house lord being in the seventh house, so I would say this thing that your courage, your prowess will be very well supported by the divine omens. And now like I would say that if your natal chart is strengthened and your dashas are running favorable and you are in that stage where you are leading some very big projects, very big team, or have to take some very important lifetime decision of political aspiration where public image is at stake, or you are a top CEO or something. So if lot many things are at stake and everything is pointed at you on your decision making, so I would say this thing that you will be able to handle or shoulder any of the responsibilities with complete perfection. Third house is of courage, prowess. Sixth house is again of competitive spirit, and they both being blended and being there in your seventh house. Your Yokarka planet being strengthened in the fifth house. And Jupiter from over here, the best part is that it also gives its aspect to your first house of your health, of your overall persona, and 11th house of wish fulfillment, of support. So overall it's a very good news for the Libra Lagna natives. And with conviction in yourself and faith in the divine, if you're gonna take any leap of faith pertaining to the matters of the seventh house, you will land at a right place. Now guys, for all the Scorpio Lagna natives, so definitely guys, in your case now, as you can see this thing that Jupiter has got a rulership over your like second house and the fifth house, and in the transit now it is going to be coming out of its retrograde motion in your sixth house. So definitely guys, when we talk about Jupiter, so for the Scorpions, Jupiter is a very auspicious, favorable planet. Again guys, when we talk about certain rising signs, like for the Aries, they never get a dosha of the 8th house related matters. Same goes when we talk about the Scorpions, somehow they have a part of their body, of their existence, which shares or which holds very kind of favorable energy pertaining to the matters of the sixth house. Scorpions always have an upper edge in the matters of the sixth house. You can blindly say this thing. A Scorpion, if he will become a doctor, he will be a good doctor. If he will become an athlete, he will become a good athlete. If he will become a money lender, he will be a good money lender. So that thing comes somehow very naturally to them. So yes guys, now talking about Jupiter's placement over here and coming out of its retrograde motion, so that in itself means a quick surge in any of the aspiration of the matters of your second house, fifth house and the sixth house. You have to write any competitive exam, planets will support you, or you are working hard to gather, amass some money, arrange some money, some fund, sponsorship and all of that, things will support you. And nothing could be better than that, the professions which I mentioned. You're working as a doctor, you're working as in the health, nutrition industry and all. So planets will definitely support you, or Jupiter will bless you with some fortunate beginnings pertaining to the matters of your sixth house. From over here as well guys, the good part is that whatsoever you will be doing in your line of work, whatsoever you will demonstrate as your work ethics, it will definitely get noticed by your seniors, by your bosses. So Jupiter's aspect to your fifth house, your 12th house, second house is a very good indication. So this is a proper indication where some of the work related travels can materialize if you stand a chance for remunerating your paycheck, your salary, your wages and all. So Jupiter will definitely support you over there as well. So overall it's a good time for the Scorpions. Improvement in the health, very strong chance of winning over any lawsuit, and if you are trying to arrange money on credit from the market, get your loans approved and all as well, it's a good transit for you. Now guys, for all the Sagittarius Lagna natives, so definitely guys, in your case, as you can see that Jupiter becomes your ascendant lord, that in itself means that its transit will definitely hold a lot of weightage in your life. So ascendant and the fourth house lord coming out of its retrograde motion in your fifth house is a very good indication. So again guys, for all those people who are trying for a child, or people with artistic creative aspiration, those students who have to take some important decision of the choice of college, choice of subjects, or you are an artist, you have to release your first book, you have to give any important performances and all. So this transition in the motion of the planet Jupiter will definitely support you. All the matters of your fifth house. The good thing is that guys, I always say this thing that out of all the houses, see, first house is important because that represents us, that represents our health. But fifth house also tells about the way our mind function. So such a blessed planet transiting in your fifth house. So I would say this thing that and because it is your ascendant lord as well. So any of the matters of the fifth house for the next 4 months will definitely support you. You are in a relationship with someone, your family is not agreeing to it. Now you will give it a chance again of introducing your that partner to your parents. They might agree, or you will release your book, you will give any performance. So definitely Jupiter's placement in the fifth house for people who are trying for a childbirth and all, it is a good positive news. And yes guys, from over here Jupiter is going to be giving its aspect to your 9th house, 11th house, first house. So good news for your health, some fortunate travels, running into like-minded people, and because of your talents, your good decision making being appreciated in a larger group. So overall it's a healthy positive news for the Sagittarius Lagna natives. Now guys, when we talk about the Capricorn rising natives, so guys, in your case now, as you can see that Jupiter has got a rulership over your 12th house and the 3rd house, and now it is going to be transiting or coming out of its retrograde motion in your 4th house. So now guys, as you know this thing that Jupiter, which has got a very strong affinity with the matters of the 4th house, because in the original Kalpurush Kundli, this house carries the energy of the Cancer, where Jupiter attains exaltation. And I always say this thing that guys, more than the zodiac sign, it's the house from where the result comes. So because of which Jupiter's transition in your 4th house is a very good news. And as I have already explained in the introduction part of this video, that whatsoever could have been promised to you was getting delayed, because initially Jupiter was conjunct with Rahu over here, then Jupiter got into retrograde motion. So now you have the last 4 months to encash on this golden transit taking place in your 4th house. It's like the universe has opened up this door for the next 4 months for your wish fulfillment. And guys, like the way I have summarized this placement of Jupiter in the Aries as fortunate beginnings in your life. So I would say this thing that, let's say for example, you are a first time home buyer, or getting blessed with a progeny within your house, or all those auspicious events which happen in our life, those lifetime events, getting married, joining your first job, or buying your first house, traveling. So I would say this thing that everything will work out in your favor. Overall, it's a good news for you. And just because guys, the energy is coming in from your 12th house, from your 3rd house as well, and the way I mentioned in one of the last video as well, because in your case your ascendant lord Saturn is also strengthened, rooted in your 2nd house. So right now you are in such a alignment that if you are close to your roots, if you're close to your foundation, if you're close to the people with whom you have grown, or close to your birthplace, there are more opportunities waiting for you. Now guys, why I'm saying this thing, because definitely I have lived in cities like Vancouver, in Toronto, which is very cosmopolitan. Lot many people, just in order to take a chance with their life, they keep on traveling to different places. And yes, definitely, so I have been in those situations as well. So sometimes what happens is that this is a kind of a transit where opportunities are more for you where your roots are. That is one thing which I want to say. And yes, apart from that, in general, if I were to say, for any of the concerns of buying a vehicle, whether you're operating commercially in the matters of the 4th house, or whether your personal aspirations right now are attached with the 4th house, things will definitely support you, help you. And if you are a content creator, you are a social media expert and all of that, you are in public service, you have any political aspiration as well, so this transition in the motion of the planet Jupiter is going to be a very good news for you. I always say this thing that whenever Jupiter is in the 4th house, like right now as well, my mom has gone to the Sundarkand Puja in one of the society's family's house. So yes, organizing this religious and spiritual events in your household, in your home, is one of the best way of pleasing, honoring this energy of Jupiter in your 4th house. Moving ahead guys, now for all the Aquarius rising natives, definitely guys, in your case now, as you can see that Jupiter has got a rulership over your 11th house and the 2nd house, and now it is going to be coming out of its retrograde motion in your 3rd house. Now guys, over here there is a catch. Jupiter is not a favorable planet for your Lagna. And also, as you know this thing that Jupiter is in a Marna Karaka Avastha whenever it is placed in the 3rd house. So when we talk about these kind of doctrines, they only affect us more when we talk about the religious side of that planet, when we talk about acquisition of the pure bliss of the knowledge. But when we talk about on a mundane, on a regular level, so I would say that this is still a good placement or good transition in the motion of the planet Jupiter, very supportive, favorable for the Aquarius rising natives. I always say this thing, Jupiter plays a very favorable role for you. Like when we talk about finances, opportunities, supplementary income, rewards, recognition, all of that is connected with the second house and the 11th house. So in your case, for the Aquarians, the only planet which can make you wealthy or rich, people say this thing that it's a Yog Karaka planet Venus, but I would say that when we talk about purely financial terms, so Jupiter holds that key. So yes guys, lot many fortunate beginnings are in store for you, and this is a kind of a typical transit because Saturn is already very much strengthened in your first house. So as long as you are abiding by the truthfulness, integrity, honesty, you believe in the diligent hard work, so and over and above that, with all that attributes as a part of your personality traits, and you're gonna take some leap of faith for anything which you are trying hard to initiate or begin, so planet will definitely support you. And definitely guys, Jupiter's well guarded supported placement in the third house, so support from the friends, colleagues, your neighbors, people around you. And also along with that, let's say for example, because Jupiter is there in the third house, so if you're also operating professionally in the matters of the third house, when we talk about being a content creator, being a journalist, being a social media person, anything to do with the travel and tour business, sales, media, marketing, so all those people will definitely benefit. And along with that guys, as you can see that for even any of the aspiration of yours, where we talk about matrimonial alliance or finding a right person, getting into a partnership nature of work, any of the travels, or being considered for a new position, new role, so Jupiter's aspect to your 7th house, 9th house, 11th house also seems to be very favorable. Now guys, when we talk about the Pisces rising natives, so guys, in your case now, as you can see that this is the transition in the motion of your ascendant lord. So your first house and the 10th house lord is now going to be gaining momentum in your second house, which in itself is a very good news. Wheresoever ascendant lord is placed, somehow your focus is right now in the attributes, in the matters of that house. So second house which tells about your family, second house which tells about your finances, your savings, your assets and all of that. So let's say for example, if you are trying to make any amendments, any of the experiments, or any new thing which you want to initiate, so this Jupiter's transition will definitely support you. I already encapsulated this whole transit theme as whatsoever would have been promised to you. Initially Jupiter was conjunct with Rahu, then it got into retrograde motion, but now as Jupiter will come out of its retrograde motion, you will definitely stand a chance. And again guys, nothing would be better than that if in your line of work your income is somehow connected with the attributes of Jupiter, like you work in the field of finance, you are a banker, investment banker, or anything to do with the theology, religion, spirituality, giving some preaching, or anything to do with the domain of the theology, religion, finances and all, book publishing, writing and all. I would say this thing that this transition in the motion of the planet Jupiter will definitely support you. The good thing is that guys, I always say this thing, Jupiter is the most blessed planet. Like whenever, like I would say it will not be an exaggeration to say this thing that wheresoever Jupiter is in your body right now, excluding some body parts, you can even put a tilak, you can actually honor it. Because see, I told you, like Jupiter is in your first house, put a tilak in your forehead, Jupiter is transiting in your 12th house, wash your feet, all these things becomes very important. So now Jupiter is transiting from your second house, so it becomes very important what you eat, what you consume, what you speak. If you are the kind of person who always abuses people, who always use cuss word, again alcohol, non-vegetarian food is a lifestyle choice, but when Jupiter is there in your second house, I would warn against it. That's your individual choice, personal choice. So yes guys, that is all what I can say. And Jupiter's aspect as well, going to your 6th house, to your 8th house, to your 10th house, is again a good indication for succeeding in any competitive situation, standing a chance for gaining good return on the past investments or insurance, royalty, gaining from them. And definitely Jupiter's aspect going to your 10th house in itself is again a very good news. So whatsoever moves you will make as a part of the way you conduct yourself, the way you speak, the way you present yourself, it will definitely leave a lasting impact in your profession as well. Your bosses will definitely be impressed with your conduct. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.